What is up? Welcome back to Monkey Adventures. This is kind of a pop culture jungle extra. We are going to be talking about Snow White, but in order to go ahead and do that, I'm going to be introducing also my co-host for the evening, Jamie.
Hey guys.
Now, before we get into this, I'm going to make this clear. We are going to be talking about this. There is a lot of politics involved in this story. We are not going to be talking about the politics. We will discuss it where we need to. We are here to talk about the facts and talk about the movie and talk about the weirdness of the weirdness of Snow White being scrapped out of premieres.
That's never a good sign.
That's never a good sign. This movie's already in a bunch of hot water. If Disney is this close to canceling premieres, and we're going to go over their reasoning, and then we're going to look at what I believe, and I'm going to do my best to convince Jamie. Jamie does not know my whole argument yet. We're going to try our best to convince Jamie. Jamie is going to be the innocent bystander who does not care about the movie either. Is Disney correct or am I correct? And we'll see what outcome we come to. I have a feeling. You pretty good? You good with this?
I'm excited.
Again, this is going to be. We are playing with fine lines on this. This is again about the news. We are touching in religion. We are touching in politics. We're touching in hard opinions.
We aren't trying to share our thoughts on that. We're sharing our thoughts on the reactions of what's happening, I think is the right way to phrase that.
Exactly. Yeah. We're going to be, again, we have our own opinions of politics. In fact, Jamie and I are not the same opinion of politics, but we, on our private time, will discuss politics. But for the internet, we don't discuss politics. Why? Because that's not what our channel is about. We're about entertainment. We're about having a good time. We're about, right now, at least, trashing Disney because we've been doing that for a little bit.
It's not our fault when they make it so easy.
That is true. We will be talking on Tuesday, though, as a preview, in case you want to skip this video because you don't want to get into some of the politics of all this. We will be talking about some of the new items that were, well, not new items, but the more details we got this weekend and actually today for the expansions coming to Disney, because the regular pop culture jungle will still be on Tuesday. There's some concept rendering is what it would be because it's 3D rendering.
I've seen some of it. It looks really cool.
Not entirely convinced they're going to be able to do this the way they're showing it. We'll see. Cool. We'll discuss it. I'm always willing to have a discussion. Also, on Tuesday, we're going to be opening Lorcana too, unless I decide to not open with Justin open tomorrow because I've already opened some. I already pulled it Enchanted, but I know this is from a different case. So we'll see what happens with that. But we're going to get into this. Again, we are not here to discuss the politics of this. We are here just to discuss the story of it and the facts of it. Fair enough?
Yeah, discuss the story and then share our opinions on that, not on the politics.
You ready to tread some rough waters and try not to fall through some ice?
That just sounds cold right now.
Yeah, well, there you go. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to pull open this, guys, what we want. Boom, boom, boom. And it worked tonight because we didn't have as many successful on Tuesday. So this is from MovieWeb. Disney reportedly scraps Snow White premiere plans to avoid more anti-woke backlash. Hi-ho, there will be nowhere to go for at least one major premiere of Snow White because Disney has reportedly decided against rolling out the red carpet for its controversial adaptation. Fears of, quote, anti-woke backlash have apparently prompted the studio to reduce media schedule for the live-action remake, which stars Rachel Zegler as its leading princess. Now, that's weird. We are weeks away from a movie.
Less than 2 weeks.
This movie has to be a financial success because it is Snow White. This is what the entire theatrical productions of the Walt Disney Company is based on.
It's the cornerstones and the pillars.
The seven doors are holding up the roof of the animation building. Legitimately.
Really quick, I just want to make a point there. There's a reason they're holding up the animation, not the live action.
Yes. But no, legitimately, I should have had this up. Walt Disney Studio images. make the open image into tab.
No, but again, like literally, they are the pillars. It's what holds up their entire animation department.
If you're going to touch the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, it has to be a success, because without Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, you don't get the studios. You don't get the studios to grow the way they do. They would have just still been doing small little cartoons and such. Yeah. This is the start of animation theatrical productions for all studios. Which is crazy to think about. This is without Snow White, DreamWorks would never have existed.
Yeah, no animation movies. They pioneered so much with this movie, with the animated version.
I think in order for us to really dive down of canceling the UK premiere, we need to go back. And I mean, we need to go way back. We need to go back to when all these controversial issues started and come forward from there. And we're only topping into, I only have, I think, 7 articles. We're not even going into all of it. But this one, ad. Leave the muted ad. First off, we're gonna go into, this was back at D23 2 years ago. Now, in case you don't know what D23 is, thank you, ad. Can you finish? Okay. In case you don't know what D23 is Disney's own expo. It is the largest base of Disney fans. The interview we're joining in is just after she got off of the main studio's panel, which means that she just got done talking to 4,000 guests. That's not the entire convention. That is just one hall.
There were me and George went last year. If you've been part of the channel for a little bit, you know that there are way more than 4,000 people here. There's, I'd say, closer to 10,000.
This year, yes. That year,
with all COVID and everything.
Well, this is probably 6 to 7, 8. It's probably 8. So let's just hear, after Miss Zegler had gotten off stage, what her opinion and her statements are, straight to the reporters. You can hear this, yeah?
Turn it up a little.
What was it like out there with everyone watching this first look?
Hilariously, I do not know what they watched. I did not see it. We were not allowed to watch. We had to stand on our spot backstage. So it sounded like they really liked it, which is really, really exciting. I saw the title card, which looked great. I got really emotional hearing everybody's reactions to it, which was really, really incredible. And so I feel very blessed to be a part of something that seems to be very important to a lot of people, including myself.
I know that you've told me before that your version of Snow White.
Hold on. I know why it's hard for you to hear.
It was okay. I can't hear it.
No, I can't hear it though. That's fine. I know what
I can't hear it.
Turn on captioning. That better?
I still can't hear anything.
No, you can't hear it. Never mind. StreamYard changed things, and it's affecting my system too.
Go back to what you're doing. We can at least hear it before. And leave the subtitles on. I think that's going to be the best.
We're going to switch this back the way this was.
Weird.
That sounded good for a second.
Okay. Copy. 1 second. I got to switch ways of doing this.
You're good.
This is the fun of when doing a live show. Shut up. I'm going to turn you back down some. And then we're going to remove this. We're going to stop, present, share, tab, audio. There we go. Now you should be able to hear it.
How
That's a lot better.
And like, what was it like out there with everyone watching this first look?
Well, hilariously, I do not know what they watched. I did not see it. We were not allowed to watch. We had to stand on our spot backstage. So it sounded like they really liked it, which is really, really exciting. I saw the title card, which looked great. I got really emotional hearing everybody's reactions to it, which was really, really incredible. And so I feel very blessed to be a part of.
Before we go further through this interview, let me set up the things. I had heard, I don't think I was at the C23, but I heard that they were doing this live action. I heard Rachel Zegler was doing it, and I was actually excited. Okay. I thought, cool deal. I'm excited to see where this movie goes. This interview starts to make me question things.
Something that seems to be very important to a lot of people, including myself.
I know that you've told me before that your version of Snow White is different, and it's more of a 2022 version of Snow White. What did you mean by that?
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
So no prince, or a different kind of prince?
We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story, just because like we cast a guy in the movie,
Right.
Andrew Burnap, great dude.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that I think everyone's going to have their assumptions about what it's actually going to be, but it's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby. But it's one of those things.
So true.
It's an inner journey that she goes on to find her true self, and she meets a lot of people along the way that make the journey really incredible.
I know I'm almost wrapped, but I quickly have to ask you about the Hunger Games prequel. I am so excited for you.
Okay, we don't need to go to the Hunger Games. That was another actually kind of bomb for the Hunger Games franchise, because those movies always have done well, but that one didn't. Okay. So what do you think of that interview, Jamie? Doesn't that give you excitement and hope for where this is going to go?
I thought princess movies and princess stories were love stories. Am I mistaken on that?
No.
I don't know. Oh, go ahead.
And again, like this is a love story, but this love story is what sets up the entire foundation for the rest of the princess movies.
Yeah. And just going along with that, the fact that you're willing to say that they can cut out someone's part entirely, that sucks.
Yeah. So again, before this interview, when I heard about the movie, because I had not seen this interview initially, I was excited. I was hopeful. I was giving Rachel Zegler the benefit of the doubt. I know she can sing, and so I was like, cool. There's some songs that I really would like to hear updated and brought onto a new mix. And then I got sent this video from other creator friends. And I was like, that's a choice.
That being said, I can agree with some of the points that, and they've never really fleshed out any of them guys very well. Beauty and the Beast is a great example of that. Of guys do creepy things in these movies and they make it okay.
Yes. But again, this already caused some issues, okay? Now,
really quick before we move on, I had a couple more thoughts.
Yeah.
I have nothing against changing it. I think of Cinderella, how many different adaptations there are of that, but they still follow the same premise. There are so many different ones. It's okay to change a couple details here and there, as long as you're getting the same story across. I actually prefer it instead of a shot-for-shot remake.
Absolutely. Like the Cinderella story with Hilary Duff.
Yes.
To me, it's hilarious. It's so well done. It is still the story. If you back up and you just let it play, it is still the Cinderella story.
That's the one with the diner, right?
That's the one with the diner.
That's exactly what was going through my mind.
That one is so fun. That one is so good. It changes it, it modernizes it, but it sticks to its source material. And it does such a good job telling it. Out of all the live action remakes that the Walt Disney Company has done, okay. For my two favorite would be way back at the start of these with Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland.
Okay.
To me, that brings in so many elements from the book, and it does a good job, like not retelling the story, but continuing the story.
Okay.
That one is probably my top of the game. But if we're gonna talk recent Disney live action remakes, Beauty and the Beast, and that one is more of a shot for shot. My biggest complaint, I've said this before, is unfortunately Emma Watson cannot sing, so you can hear the auto tune through it.
Yeah.
But the shots, the setup, the layout of it, the additions that we get to it, the look of the real castle, beautiful.
Yes.
Well done.
Yes. They didn't change a lot. Like you said, they didn't. A lot of it is a shot for shot remake, but they added more and it explained things better. I felt like
they filled out the world more. If you're gonna do these, that's the way you should do it.
Yes.
I still refuse to call the live action Lion King a live action. That's not live action.
No, it's not.
I will die on this hill.
Lions.
It is an animation movie, but it is realism animation.
Yes.
Which is fine. You can call it that. You cannot call it live action.
No, live action would be going out to the savannah and filming lions.
If you found a bunch of lions that could actually sing it, I will give you some serious money because I want to see these lions that can actually run around singing and dancing. However, I think I want to more so watch the choreographer trying to teach these lions to sing and dance and not get eaten. Okay? Is that fair?
That would be
maybe too critical there.
I'd watch that more times than I'd watch the movie.
I would too. But okay. So D23 normally is in August, okay? August, it's always summer or August, right in there. So a few months later, world events happen, and this is really touching into it. This is where we're going to get really into some of the politics side of it. Again, we're talking about the politics of it. We're just talking about what was said and what happened and what I think has led us to where we are now.
George is bringing up the backstory and the facts of what happened. We aren't commenting on that.
Correct. So this is coming out of Images. Quote, I can't watch children die, end quote. Snow White star Rachel Zegler on speaking up for Palestine. Rachel Zegler, who stars opposite Gal Gadot in Disney's upcoming remake, Snow White, has been vocal in her support for Palestine for the few years. Her co-star, Gal Gadot, who plays the evil queen in the film, is a high-profile Israel actor who infamously served 2 years in Israel's Defense Force before rising to global stardom. It's no surprise, then, that the two stars don't see eye to eye on the Israel-Palestine issues. In August, The Guardian reported that their polarizing views have turned their fairy tale into a nightmare. Now,
really quick, I have a random question. Yes. In Israel, isn't it compulsory to serve so many years in the military? Or am I know a lot of countries do that.
A lot of countries do that. That's actually a very valid question. Do you have to serve?
All male and female, they must be in a draft.
They must be in a draft. So that means if she served, since they were not involved in conflict, is how I'm going to word that for YouTube's sake. It means that she actually volunteered, is what that tells me, because they were not involved in some serious conflict at the time, as far as I remember. I am not going to show the screen at this point. I'm going to talk about parts of the screen because there are parts that YouTube aren't exactly happy about. And again, we are trying to be very careful about what we refer onto. But Rachel Zegler goes on. This is on Twitter that she had posted. I love you all so much. Thank you for your love and for 120 million views on our trailer, because the video did do very well initially in the first 24 hours. What a whirlwind. I am in the thick of rehearsals for Romeo and Juliet, so I'm going to get out of here. Bye for now. Then she responds to her own tweet about a minute later, and always remember, free Palestine. She immediately jumped straight into that full side and fight for it. Soon after, Newsweek declared that Zegler was on a collision course with her co-star Godot, and Fox News reported Rachel Zegler stirs more controversy, while Zegler bore the brunt of speaking up for Palestine. BDS called for a boycott of Snow White featuring Godot. This is where we get into a lot of issues, because now it is one member very much speaking against the beliefs and, frankly enough, the nationality of another actress.
Which is never a good thing.
It's never a good thing. Disney should have gone ahead and nipped this in its butt immediately. And yes, people are allowed to have their own opinions. However, somebody from the Walt Disney Company should have been going, hey, we need this movie still to be successful. And yes, you can have your own opinions, but you can't go ahead and share them here. Not in a way that's going to be in.
Yes.
Justin, you are right, but this is because, again, it's weird that we're this close to a movie and we're canceling premieres after we just did a premiere that went okay. They just did the premiere in Japan.
Okay.
Now, we don't need the audio because we're not going to get struck on that. But this is back from the Oscars. Okay.
What Oscars?
The Oscars that just happened.
Okay.
We're jumping into current.
Okay.
So Rachel Zegler's on the left, Gal Gadot's on the right. They come out. They're actually walking out to "Someday My Prince Will Come" being played in the orchestra, which is kind of funny because that song's been cut from the movie. Yep.
And her comments
Right,
earlier.
counterpoint. Okay, counterpoint to sharing my own options. What about the Mando actress? We can touch into that. Yes. So she went ahead and she shared her counterpoint, and okay, you have to make this hard. I've got to figure out how I can word this right. So I can't remember her name right now, but she came forward. This is either after or during the shoot of Mandalorian season 1. And she is conservative, and she came out with conservative posts. The same time, the actor for Mandalorian, he's also Reed. What?
Is it is it Pablo Pascal?
Yes.
And her name is Gina Carnero, I think.
Yep. After season 1 premiere. Yes. He was doing the same kind of post, but he was doing his posts pro the opposite view. So one was more conservative, one was very much more liberal. They both made their posts. Frankly enough, again, my opinion is Disney should have just told them, hey, while we're doing this, can you guys not make posts right now, not talk about politics? But they both were doing their own posts. Gina was then fired. She is currently suing the Walt Disney Company. Once we have updates on that is when we'll bring that into the Pop Culture Jungle talks, because she is also being backed in her suing of the companies by Elon Musk.
Oh.
And the judge has given them permission to go into full discovery based on her allegations so far, saying that she was fired due to her political beliefs, which, in case you don't know, in the United States, it is illegal to fire somebody for their political beliefs. You cannot do that. This was to protect people back in the time of communism being rampant and to make sure that filmmakers did not fire who they believed were communist workers.
Because a lot of that was happening. That's just the way that was going. This came out, and so that law still stands. This is why she has fighting ground. But yes, that is another good point of this is, and we're getting to where we finally hear this whole time. Gal Gadot's been very quiet about
her political views. She has made her statement, but she's not making them outwardly. Does that make sense? She's not going on to like talk shows and doing and such.
Okay, yeah.
You assume SXSW? We are this show is this episode is just about Snow White being canceled. The Snow White premiere being canceled. Any of the regular docket stuff is for Tuesday. I want there's enough in this because if you were at the beginning of the show, which again you're working, I know, to catch you up. According to Disney, the reason the park stuff will be later. The reason the UK premiere has been canceled, according to the Walt Disney Company, was to avoid more, quote, anti-woke backlash. I don't think that's the reason, especially in the UK, where, again, you have to be very careful about whatever you're saying and doing at the moment. I think it's more to do with they can't control Zegler's opinions, and that scares them because we're going to get to, we haven't gotten there yet, where the movie was estimated to open at and where it's estimated to open at now. And it changed after the Japan premiere. And that's not good because it came down after the premiere.
Oh, that's never good.
Should have gone up.
Go up.
Should have gone up. But so we're gonna go back into this. This was from this last Oscars. Again, we have Rachel Zegler on the left in the whitish, and Gal Gadot on the right, and we're just gonna watch, and we're just gonna, Jamie, I want you to analyze if you're just watching this, how you think they are about each other. Kevin Davis, families will go see Disney live action remakes at the theater. Mufasa and Lion King made $700 million. Little Mermaid made $569. I would normally agree. However, everybody I've talked to who haven't been following the drama and such, nobody's excited for this movie based on the commercials themselves, which is not a good sign. It is still going to sell. Don't get me wrong. We're going to talk about that. But I don't know if they're going to be able to cross the point of making money. Now, Jamie, I don't know about you, but when I'm watching this, one, we never see them actually look at each other. Two, anytime during the Oscars, if you've got two co-stars, especially two women co-stars come out, normally they're locked arms or whatnot, not clearly.
They're very friendly. It looks like they're very stiff. It looks like they separated for a second and then came back together. And it's not like they have the Victorian ball grounds that like prevent you from doing that.
Yeah, they are clearly pretty much ignoring each other, which again makes sense based on everything we've seen so far, based on the older articles. They did not get along.
It's almost like they were told to stand closer together, and that's as close as they got.
I think so. You always think I'm over.
That's speculation.
That is speculation. But you are right. I could be overanalyzing, but body language does say a lot. And even when they turned and walked back, I could not find the clip of that. And I can't play the full clip because it's the Oscars. But even when they turn to walk back, they separate pretty far from each other. They keep away from each other. Fuchsia had good reviews and audience support and still bombed at the box office. Yeah. So again, we'll see. As I put it when we talked about this at the beginning, I am hopeful that this movie is going to do good. The Seven Dwarfs are so iconic and so responsible and so important for the Walt Disney Company. I hope it does good. Based on the trailers, the last trailer Justin and I reviewed, we talked about this. We said it looked better. Now, it doesn't mean I'm excited to go see this. I am going to go see this because we are still going to review it. And we're going to review it as quick as we can. Justin's schedule is always a little bit more hectic than mine. But I want this movie to do well. I don't necessarily care for the live actions, but I want the movie to do well because it's still Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. They're still too iconic and important for the Walt Disney Company.
One thing to add on to that, it's so iconic. I want to say it was the Oscars came out with a special Oscar for it because they didn't do animated movies because it was the first one ever. That's how big of a deal it is. They don't do custom Oscars.
It is the only Oscar in all time that has been changed, and it is one Oscar on a big pedestal with seven smaller Oscars next to it to represent the Seven Dwarfs. It is. I've seen it in person. If I thought to bring the photo, I'd bring the photo. It is a very beautiful Oscar, and I'm not even sure this movie is going to be nominated for an Oscar next year. But that's speculation. That's my opinion. Now, we do know after the Oscars is the premiere in Japan. Richard Zegler finally went out. Waiting on a Wish was performed for the first time in person, and first time right after this is when it came out onto the full soundtrack. I believe Beauty and the Beast was nominated for at least costuming. To answer that, for those who are watching the after show, the question was if any of them have been nominated. I believe Beauty and the Beast had been.
I'm looking it up.
Yeah. Now, this premiere went well. Everything I saw went well. As far as I can find, the interviews were a little odd, but the Japanese people came out. They were all excited for it. They loved the song. We cannot play the song because of copyright.
Really quick. Lion King, the 2020 live action, like we were talking about, was nominated for best visual effects.
Okay. But like this was cool because she got to come out and she performed "Wait on a Wish," and I believe if I remember right, that is actually the voiceover artist for Japan. That is the Japanese voice actors.
Really quick on an unrelated topic to kind of what we're talking about, but still related to Snow White. Did it sound good?
The song?
Yes.
If you've watched any of the trailers, you've heard it.
Uh-huh.
Because they play the song in every trailer. They are sure this song is going to sell this movie. And it's okay. It's not great. It's not horrible.
Uh-huh.
I'm just tired of listening to it because it's not great. Waiting on a Wish is against what is replacing I'm Wishing, and it's not a good replacement in my opinion. But again, it goes with the changing of the story, and I get that. I will defend them not keeping a song in there just because it was iconic to the movie, but changing the song in order to keep correct with the movie, as long as the movie is good.
Along with that, I really like what they did with Aladdin, and they gave Jasmine that song. Came out really good.
Yeah.
I don't remember the song or anything, but I like that addition.
Speechless is the song you're talking about.
Yes.
My only complaint about Speechless was it's such an empowering song, but it's done in just her mind, so it doesn't do anything. Like I feel like that song should have actually been Jasmine singing it, or as like a statement and such, because it's a musical, opposed to it just being seen not heard kind of situation.
That's fair.
Dune Part 2 had all the hype around the world, and they only stopped at $717 million at the box office. Yeah, and that kind of also shows what the movie sphere is like right now. Again, Moana 2 broke $1 billion. Did not predict that was going to happen. Inside Out 2 broke $1 billion. and it broke it fast. And I'm still surprised. It's a solid movie, but it's not my favorite.
I still haven't seen either one of them.
Inside Out 2, actually, I think they're both now on Disney Plus. And then Deadpool broke $1 billion, which I was surprised by. It's a fantastic movie. I give it a great review. I'm surprised it did as well as it did.
Fair.
Now we're gonna need this over on. Okay, well, actually, we're not gonna play the audio of this one. Not that we're trying to quiet it down, but just so we don't have to worry about any other issues. I'm gonna get this ready.
But yeah, it was surprising Deadpool breaking $1 million with the R rating.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't realize jumped right in also. So we're gonna read the translation. This was from JTV. This just happened. So Gal Gadot did not go to the premiere in Japan. She instead went back to Israel. So he's going to talk for a second because this was his video. This is JTV Jewish Ideas. Give credit where credit is due. We always do here on this channel. We don't need to listen to him talk. There we No! Skip. All right. I'm a mother, wife, a sister, a daughter, an actress. I am Israeli, and they cut it there. I believe she says, and I'm Jewish. There it is. I'm Jewish. I'm going to say it again. My name is Gal Gadot, and I'm Jewish. So she actually went ahead, instead of going to the premiere, decided she was done being quiet, and she wanted to go out and actually publicly state this because she was tired of being silenced about it, which again leads to more. I don't think the two of them are getting along right at the moment, because it's odd that instead of that she decided not to go to the premiere of, frankly enough, her movie also. It's not just Rachel Zegler's movie. Frankly enough, I'm more excited to see Gal Gadot in the movie because I think she's going to pull that role off, and I think it's going to look fantastic.
To be honest, I didn't even know she was in it.
Because, again, so my opinion is we can have the announcement about stars and such in movies. That should not make the movie. The star is not the reason to watch the movie. I want to go see a movie and enjoy it just because the movie is good. When I heard for Wicked that Ariana Grande was going to be playing Glinda, frankly enough, that made me worried about the movie, in all honesty.
Fair.
Ariana Grande is a good singer. I just not see her in the role.
She pulled it off phenomenally.
We went to go see it, yeah, and fantastic. Blew my mind away. She hit the part. She did the part. That's how it should be. To me, it doesn't really matter who it is. When it came to over my shoulder back over there, the Mario movie, and I heard that Chris Pratt was going to be Mario, I was worried about it. The movie is good. The movie is solid. Chris Pratt just played Chris Pratt, but the movie, the writing itself was good.
Yes.
And so that's where we're in this world of all this and back and forth. Now, in order for us to set it up, I pulled this up right before we started just to make sure we had the current version. According to the Walt Disney Company, the reported budget of Snow White was $209 million. Pinocchio, which was another flop, was $150 million. The Little Mermaid was $240 million. So supposedly it was cheaper than Little Mermaid. And the original Snow White was $1.4 million, but that was,
1937.
Yeah. So, if we go over here to the world of Real, okay? This is from January 4th. Snow White. Budget is probably well over $300 million. Early in the year, a teaser for Snow White was released. It might have taken the cake as the most hated video of 2024, having nabbed 1.4 million dislikes on YouTube. I don't believe any other movie has come close to this kind of viral.
Vitriol, I think.
Okay. A few months later, the full-length trailer was unveiled online, and it didn't fare any better. It nabbed almost 1 million dislikes and 50,000 likes. It has gone over 1 million dislikes also by this point. So that's 2 of the 3 trailers over 1 million dislikes. The third one I don't think is there yet. I'd have to switch over browsers. It's almost there though. Last month, Forbes revealed that the December 2023 Snow White had a budget that ballooned to $269 million, which forced Disney to admit it in its Q4 filings, that the film was forecasted to be over the production budget. Now, that's important. We know, and I could not, the pieces have been deleted from the internet. We know the set burnt down once, at least the cottage. We know there were at least 3 different reshoots, because we originally had the first version of Snow White, then we had the 7 Dwarfs, then we had Snow White and the 7 mythical creatures, then we had Snow White, and then we had Snow White and the 7 CGI dwarfs, is what I'm going to call it. So we know there at least was 3 different reshoots in there, be it maybe only a couple scenes or whatnot. We also know there was a lot of late-end production work because of the CGI dwarves. This is part of what delayed it. We also know this production started in 2020, meaning that this production has been going on for 5 years. So we know it's over 300 million. Disney is not saying that. Disney doesn't want to admit that because that makes it higher that they have to budget out. We'll talk about where, in my opinion, I believe they need to make the sales out to make this work. Now, reshoots and post-production work have taken place since that date, so the costs are set to surge in the next set of filings, which again, Disney did not discuss in the last quarter this film. They did not discuss any of their films of where they were. Because we also know at the same time was when Captain America was going through reshoots and re-edits. Which should be available around the time of its March 2025 theatrical release. Because this movie is launching technically the day after the next earnings call. And I think that was purposeful. So they didn't have to talk about it until the following quarter. So we have a movie we know is over budget that has over 2 million dislikes. We know in previous past the live action Snow White, the live action princess movies do okay opening weekend and they stay consistent, but they usually come in and break in. I want to say, let's just use
really quick. I worked in a movie theater for a year.
Yes,
kids movies are steady forever because you have a day off, you have time. You're gonna go see a kids movie eventually, or you have little kids. Phenomenal thing to go and take a kid to for a couple hours and get out of the house for a little bit. They stay steady throughout the entire time they're there. It felt like.
Yeah. So this movie did not have as many controversies going on about it. This was The Little Mermaid. It came in domestically 300 million, internationally 271, bringing it worldwide box office to 569. Okay. So I don't know if they went through production problems. I was not studying up on these movies at the time. That is my fault. But if we come back to this 209, we know that's incorrect. So now we can go to a solid 300 million. And let me pull my calculator out. Where in the world did I put my phone?
I have a calculator. I'll do it.
Okay. So we start with that 300 million.
Okay. Can I just do 300 to make it easy?
Yes. Well, no, actually.
How many zeros is million? 6?
Here, I got numbers up. I pulled numbers.
Okay.
Let me just open a freshie. So if we show this, I'm not showing things I'm not supposed to show.
That's fair.
That is fair. So we'll pull this over here. No, it doesn't show it anyways. That's wonderful. Okay, so we have 300 million. I believe that is correct. So 1,000 separator. Boom.
No, we're being generous with 300 because this is saying well over.
Yes. Now, normally Disney will do half of where the budget is in marketing. So 300 million, we're going to say 150 million in marketing, okay?
Okay. For
Now,
450 million.
That brings us to 450 million. That is correct. If we take that 450 million, that means we need to take in consideration the on average between international and domestic, box office is going to take about half of whatever the sales are. Okay. So in order to make 450 million, we need to double that. That sound fair?
Yes.
So we take that number, multiply that 2.
You get 900 million.
Which means if this is true, this movie has to make $900 million to break even. Little Mermaid, less controversy.
Did about half that.
It had more hype also.
I also feel like Little Mermaid's a bigger princess than Snow White.
Little Mermaid's a lot more recognizable, especially because she is from the Renaissance. Snow White is iconic because of who she is. However, when you're talking little kids, the Little Mermaid is the more iconic that they're going to lean towards.
Yes.
So, if we take that into consideration, we know that they had reshoots. Again, we were being generous at 300 million. Why cancel a premiere? You need hype for this movie. And again, I'm just some idiot on the internet. Frankly enough, if I can do quick little, monetary guessing math, and I may be wrong. Maybe Disney has spent, a nickel and a dime on marketing. It's not that, because I get legitimately pushed trailers for it continuously. And it's not that because whenever I'm sitting and watching television with my folks, it's on every commercial run. And even though, yes, it's on ABC, which is Disney owned, somebody still has to pay for that.
Yeah. So, counterpoint. It's very possible, reverse psychology. If we cancel it, people are going to say, what happened? What's going on? I need to go see this movie now.
I would agree. And that is a very valid point and a very valid statement. But if that's the case, I think when we come back to current, this is a dangerous way to do that.
Yes.
Again, we are going to talk politics without trying to be political. In January, a new president was put in the office in the United States. Since then, a lot of the political atmosphere and feelings, I'm trying to be very careful, shifted very much in the United States. We just had a speech by the president that went ahead, and I believe it had a 72% approval rating.
For those of us who don't follow politics, is that a good or a bad thing?
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
That's incredibly good. Donald Trump speech approval.
I don't like politics. It's icky and messy.
This is why we don't talk politics on this channel, but I do feel at this point for the marketing move of anti-woke backlash, I think it's important for us to discuss a little bit into it. I'm trying to be very careful about it.
Yes.
If you have a different view of this, please let us know, either if you're here in the chat, right there in it. I want to have a open, safe conversation.
We aren't going to get mad at you for your opinion. It's your opinion. Do with it what you want.
But I'm going to do the counter statement to that statement. Be respectful of other opinions also.
Absolutely. That's the deal. Be respectful.
You're more than welcome to make your point and statement, because I would love to hear it. View on Trump's speech, it was 76% approval rating. In the past, I believe they're normally closer to low 60s, high 60s.
Really quick, going back to the respect thing before we get too far away.
Yes.
We will respect you. You have to respect us.
Absolutely.
And we will gladly talk with you all day.
Absolutely. So that shows there that people are, at least, even if they still have their opinion, which you're more than welcome to have, they're more open to listening to the other side now. This hurts that.
Yes, it does.
This tries to set fans against each other or fans against the Disney company,
which is never a good thing.
We have already gone through on other times of discussing this is a bad year for the Walt Disney Company. They won't admit it. They're trying their best to hide it. But again, they're being sued by shareholders. They're being sued by Gina Carano.
And they have competition.
They're going to lose this year in the theme park world because Epic Universe, especially the reviews Justin and I just read on Tuesday, from B mode on all the animatronics in a technical preview, blow anything in Orlando out of the water at the moment. That's scary if you are a theme park in the area.
Yeah.
And again, Universal was smart. The only way to get tickets to Epic Universe at the moment is to buy a week at Universal. You're not going to pay for your time to go to Universal and end up over at Disney. If I'm buying a ticket to Universal, I'm going to go use my ticket to Universal.
Even though you'd get motion sick on like 90% of the rides.
Oh, I'm just going to go and enjoy the walk. Jamie, I'm going to Universal next 2 months.
No, I know.
So, I mean, it's not that, again, I'm one, I can go to a theme park and not ride a ride and have a great time because I just go and I enjoy the escapism of it.
Yes.
And frankly enough, I am, again, a huge Disney fan. In case you can't see, there's a lot of Disney items behind me. Jamie's a huge Disney fan. We both have already agreed when we're in Florida in November, if we can get tickets to Epic Universe, we're going there and not Walt Disney World, which is really sad to say.
I've been to Disney World once. I'd love to go again. But if Epic Universe is an option, it's new. It's shiny.
Yeah. Us going ahead and telling people that we're canceling premieres, especially in the UK, where the UK is more, everything I'm seeing, I've not been to the UK, but it is more of a liberal country.
I've been there. I could agree with that. It was a couple years ago, but I could agree with that.
And they're doing the fight that they're canceling the premiere to keep away from anti-woke backlash. That's odd.
Are they canceling the one in the US too?
That'd be the question. I think they're going to. And I think I know why. We can go back to that first interview we get where Rachel Zegler gets to speak on her own. And look at how many problems that caused. That was at a Disney event. Every time she has talked about this movie has brought up more people hating the movie or hating her. I think the reason the UK premiere was canceled is because she could speak the language, so she would be speaking straight to the public and straight to the press. I think this is a move by Disney to try to protect this film and this picture.
That's an interesting thought. Because you can't not have the lead at a premiere.
Exactly. Because, again, it's odd that Gal Gadot was not at the premiere. Because, again, you can't have a hero without a villain.
And you can't have a Disney princess movie without the Disney princess there at the premiere. You can't. It's an unwritten law that I just made up, but it's there.
I just realized I'm missing the last article for my defense. I'm trying to find it. Because that's where it is now. Where's the one for previous?
Bum bum bum.
Was it in this one? It wasn't in this one. Okay. Well, we'll use this. So, Jamie, we're gonna come back here. Little Mermaid, okay?
Okay.
Let's go box office. Let's go week 1. There you go. 95 million.
Okay.
That's a solid opening.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, we do see the drop off and then a random spike and then it continues to drop off. This is the pattern that we saw for the weekend run of Little Mermaid. It landed right in the middle of what people predicted.
I'd even say a little low.
It a little low, but it's still well within its range. It did fine.
Yes.
Now, it was predicted that Snow White was going to open, and this is before the preview.
Okay.
I believe it was 55 to 65 million dollars.
That seems a little low still. Like,
it is, because again, this is how far it has dropped. After all of that, after the premiere, we're now to an estimated 48 to 58 million.
Oh dear.
You remember the number we mentioned earlier that this movie has to, in predictions and estimations, this movie realistically has to make the break even. Not make a penny, but break even.
Just make it simple. $1 billion.
Yes, $1 billion is really where they'd want to be, because at least they made $100,000. But $900 million is expected to open at 48 to 58. We can use the reference of Little Mermaid, again, less controversial of a movie at the time.
More popular princess.
Opened at 95 million, and it finished domestically at 300 million.
400. Closer to 5.
298,172 domestically. Internationally was another 271, which brought it worldwide to 569. But again,
we're just talking about US. Okay. They made about a third of it at opening weekend.
They did about a third of it the opening weekend.
So what's the prediction for this one?
Let's just be nice. We're going to say 58 million. It makes 58 million. That's a third of it, meaning we're going to round up 60 million. Easy math means realistically $180 million over 4,000 theaters, because they're going to push to be 4,000 theaters.
That's less than what the movie cost.
Now, that is only national, but
if we could double it, because that's what I've seen here, just about double.
So about 310 million.
360 to be nice. Make math simple. 360 if they double it. That's maybe some of your marketing back. And it's not like they have DVDs like they used to.
This is why I think they're trying to cancel these premieres. And this is why I don't think when we go into it, I don't think we're going to have, unless they're all completely scripted, any interviews on like Good Morning America or whatnot that week.
Hey, saving some marketing.
Dark Tree Gaming, why was it canceled? According to Disney, it was canceled to prevent anti-woke backlash in the UK. We just spent the whole video going over it, and I think it's more so to do with they can't control what Zegler says, and they're afraid that the movie's going to start performing even worse because the numbers of its box office are dropping and dropping. And I have a feeling in my gut we're going to hear before that weekend comes out, it's going to drop again. Pre-sales for this movie did go up for sale at one point. They were so bad they've been stopped. They're going to re-drop them later.
Is it worse than Captain America?
By far.
That's not good.
This is
Captain America. We were looking. We could find seats the Friday before or Friday of, and empty theaters.
This is going to be a financial failure by the Walt Disney Company. Now, there is enough in marketing. They may just go buy a bunch of tickets themselves to go ahead and make the movie look like it's doing better, which is a marketing move. It is sleazy, but hey, you can do that.
Yeah.
There are podcasts that I listen to, and there's other groups I listen to who are being paid lots of money by their viewers to go see it because they don't want to go see it either. And they're reviewers who go and review this stuff.
Oh, that's always a good sign.
That's always a good sign. Again, I will be going and reviewing it. Justin's going to come with me. He's excited to it. In fact, I might even buy him the popcorn bucket just because. And then we're going to come back here and we're going to live stream our reaction to it. We weren't very positive on Moana 2. Moana 2 surprised us. I will defend that. It made over $1 billion. I didn't predict it was going to get that high. I think it's more solid of a story, at least, than this was. At least you had Lin-Manuel. Well, did you have Lin-Manuel Miranda on that? No, you didn't. In my opinion, Disney needs to stop with the remake and start making new content. Agreed.
They can do that. I want a couple on their live actions done first. I want Atlantis and Treasure Planet first. Then they can stop.
Okay. I'm okay with some of the remakes if they're for movies that just either missed the mark or whatnot, and they're hoping if they go back and redo it and live action is cheaper than animation, if they think they can go back and redo it and rebuild the hype. I still think do I have my backpack? I still think Atlantis is such an amazing movie and deserves more love. And if this got a live action remake, I would go see it 30 times. I'm not even joking.
I don't have the time or finances to go see it that many times, but I'd go see it in theaters again. I remember watching that so much.
Oh, yeah, I still watch it. I love it. In fact, we're probably going to watch it on the cruise, to be honest with you.
Yes.
Treasure Planet's another one. Remake, okay, but please stop. Yeah. The Lilo and Stitch remake. I'm on two ends of the same football field on this one, okay? I do not agree with them remaking it because I feel it's too new and the movie is perfect. However, the little bit we got to see of Stitch so far, they're doing it very well that I'm excited for.
I just hope they remake the commercials. You can do those shot for shot. I don't care. Bring them back.
Well, and again,
and the live actions would be even better if you brought them into attacking the live actions. Phenomenal.
Well, so like Lilo and Stitch is going the route more like How to Train Your Dragon. That they are going more a true just remake of it because it's the original director and he made it clear he wanted to have actors and performers that fit the part and he wanted to go that route. That I'm okay with. That we can throw this up there because we can all take a moment of silence in respect to the Star Wars franchise that has been killed off by the Walt Disney Company.
I think Justin would really like you.
But yes, agreed. I watched The Acolyte. We didn't have our pop culture review show going. I voluntarily watched this. I suffered every episode and it was horrible. However, I did start laughing in some episodes because it was so horrible. It was funny. because this got approved somehow along the way.
I still haven't seen it.
I am hopeful for good Star Wars to return one day. I am a Star Wars fan to the end of the day. It was garbage. I will agree to that statement. But one day we might get a positive movie. However, I am excited for Star Wars at the moment because we are getting episode 3 back.
Yeah,
I'm
so excited for that.
Justin and I are talking about going to a 4DX theater.
Ooh.
Dude, that opening whole sequence in a 4DX movie theater. Oh, take my money. So, okay, I'm going to come back to your comment. We always respond to comments. We always respond to people. I do want to try to finish out this part of the video, though. Jamie, did I convince you that I don't think Disney is being truthful for the reason why the premiere was canceled?
Yes.
And have I convinced you? I think it's more so to do with trying to control the narrative being portrayed out by the lead actress about the movie.
I will be honest, I don't know enough to actually to go with that. We presented facts, and that's one side of the story. There could be a whole lot of other reasons that we don't know about, that we won't ever know about. So I'm not going to say that's actually it. It's a logical explanation, and it makes sense. I can't argue against that. But I didn't go and do the research. I didn't look into it at all. I'm going off what you presented, and that's the narrative I got from it. Okay. I'm not saying that's actually what it is, but it could be.
Let me reword it this way then. Okay? If we went ahead and let's just say you were a hype for the movie, you were at D23 back at that point, and you saw that first initial interview, would that have given you confidence in the movie at that point?
No.
Yeah.
Even now, it breaks my confidence in the movie, and it makes me so sad. And I am also frustrated with it for my own reasons. You work for this company. They've paid you a lot of money to do this. It doesn't matter what your opinions are. Even your job, does it matter what your opinions are on some things, George? What your personal beliefs are?
Oh, no.
So
no.
Why does it matter? Why are your personal beliefs such a big deal in this? No. I feel like, not to press down on freedom of speech here in America, but you are working at these events. You're working for the company. Not necessarily that it has to all be scripted, because that's the wrong way to do it.
Yeah.
But you're working for the company. Your personal stuff does not matter in this case.
No, I completely agree. Again,
go ahead.
I was excited when they said they were doing it, but I was nervous because, again, they're touching a franchise that is so important to, again, not just the Walt Disney Company, but to animation also. When it comes to movies, I am more lenient and more of a fan of animation movies than live action. And so they're touching, frankly enough, the movie that's the most important in cinematic history to any of that. And if they fail it, it's not just going to hurt current Disney. It hurts the previous Snow White. It hurts everything the Walt Disney Company is standing for at the moment.
It, again, like you said, it hurts Snow White. You don't hurt Snow White.
No. Again, we can look back to Fantasmic 1.0 at Disneyland. I don't know if it was in the Florida version. I can't speak on their behalf. But at Disneyland, Fantasmic 1.0 opened in the 90s. And one of the 3 princesses they chose to give their own little float and own little part of the section in the Princess Part 4 was Snow White, because of how important she is to this company. They were touching in on a topic so important and so protected by the Walt Disney Company, and we're at a point that we are looking at it's going to be a complete and total box office failure. This is scary.
Looking like. Yes, that's what it's looking like. It can change.
It can change.
But that's not what it's looking like.
Again, as I worded it, we're just idiots on the internet. What do we know? But if we are idiots on the internet looking at this and predicting the movie needs to make $900 million based on the facts, and that's us using, again, rounded numbers since we don't know the exact number, and we can still look to the last Princess movie and where it landed. I don't know there's any way this movie turns a profit at all. It could.
That being said, you didn't think Inside Out 2, Moana, or Deadpool would break that billion mark, and they did.
Okay. I knew Deadpool was going to be successful. I did not think of $1 billion. $1 billion makes no sense for Deadpool. A fantastic movie.
George, it's Deadpool. Of course it doesn't make sense.
I mean, that is fair. Great jokes in it. But no, you are right. Inside Out 2, I figured would do very well. I figured it was going to be close, but I did not think it was going to go over that billion mark. I also knew nothing of the movie coming into it, unlike these other ones that we're talking about. Moana 2, we knew it had problems. We know it has problems. It still broke that part because Moana is still a very sellable character by the Walt Disney Company. At this point, the studio, and we talked about this on Tuesday at the Pop Culture Jungle, every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Be sure to check it out. But we did talk about it during that show, that the studio that did it is downsizing and has canceled doing any like TV shows content, which again, that movie made money, but apparently that tells me that they made money, but it cost way more than they told everybody because they, again, scrapped one project for a different project in that case.
I feel like whenever a TV show turns into a movie or a movie turns into a TV show, it never comes out right.
What are you talking about? Look at Atlantis 2. It's fantastic.
That was supposed to be a TV show?
Yes. That's why it's so weird, because it's actually 3 different episodes just merged together and finished.
I did not know that. I was thinking of Hawkeye and then Moana.
Hawkeye, I was so hopeful for. I wanted that movie. It became a TV show. I was still hopeful for it. I still like the show, but you can legitimately cut 2/3 of it out and the movie would be fine.
I think it would have done better too.
Yeah. So there you have it for the video part. This is where that video is going to cut out. As you can see, I don't think Disney is being truthful that they're canceling it for trying to get away from the anti-woke backlash. I think personally, and I thought I'd get there, but I guess as Jamie put it, he didn't have enough evidence on both sides, which is totally fair. I thought I could convince him the other way. I do think, and I think I did convince you on this, they are doing it more so trying to cut costs and to try to protect the movie as much as possible to hopefully turn a profit.
I can see that, yes.
Because premieres are not cheap. And again, this movie does not look like it's going to make anywhere close to what it needs to break even.
Yeah. I think it could help them. Like I mentioned earlier, it's like, why did the premiere get canceled? I need to go see this and see what's going on. But it could also really hurt them.
Yeah.
But if they're taking that risk of canceling it, it means that they're scared of something.
Oh, they're terrified of this movie. They are terrified of the backlash this movie is going to cause.
Lock it in the vault. Hide it. You still have a chance.
I've been saying this the whole time. Scrap the movie.
You have about less than 2 weeks to solve this and just hide it. Take
a $1 billion loss, write it off on the taxes, throw it out the window. Don't let a single person see this thing. You'll do better and you'll protect Snow White. I've been saying this for a while now.
Yeah.